Very tricky game up next. Chargers, Washington. Very tricky. And let's just go right to the market here and see what we are dealing with. It opens as a pick'em, and it's back to a pick'em at most books. So Chargers had become 1-point favorites, and they still are at some. But this is now a pick'em again. Let's go to the total here for this spot. 44.5 right across the board with no movement. 44.5 right across the board with no movement. Cash Action Bets says Redskins money line. We have Brandon Staley coming in to replace Anthony Lynn and all the questionable decisions there. Joe Lombardi and Ronaldo Hill. So, Bebsie, I looked at the over win total for both the Chargers and the Broncos, and I ended up cutting them, but both the Chargers Broncos win totals are at 8.5 and minus 130. Well, we know that one is going to cover that, maybe two. I find it similar to the situation in the NFC East where the Eagles and Giants are both at 6.5, and we expect that one of them will be under 6.5, and they're both at plus 130 for the under. I don't know what to do with this spot, but I will be there January 2nd at SoFi to see the Broncos at the Chargers. I can't fucking wait. Jared Cook comes in. Chase Daniel comes in as a backup. Josh Palmer, wide receiver, they draft number 77th overall out of Tennessee. Larry Roundtree, in round 6 out of Missouri. Rashawn Slater comes in, offensive tackle. He's their first-round draft pick. Corey Linsley comes in from the Packers, reuniting with Bulaga. They lose Hunter Henry and Melvin Ingram. Herbert was a revelation last year. He was spectacular, and his odds to be MVP keep dropping. I mean, this guy there's a lot of high expectations for him. They finally get rid of Anthony Lynn and have Brandon Staley to run the ship. Austin Eckler missed 6 games last year. Joe Lombardi should be able to use Eckler very easily. Keenan Allen, also Mike Williams. If he wants that giant contract, he better step up this year. Hunter Henry signed by the Patriots, but they bring in 34-year-old Jared Cook. Is he going to be able to replace him? They also have Donald Parham. Offensive line, they bring in Corey Linsley. That's a huge, huge addition. They also bring a Bushi in free agency. So Bulaga, the only returning starter, but him and Linsley are boys. So this defense is expected to be greatly improved with Brandon Staley calling the plays and healthy versions of Bosa and Derwin James. Middle linebacker Kenneth Murray got better as the season went on. Nwosu is expected to replace Melvin Ingram. Chargers expectations. Chargers week 1. Bebsy, take it away.
I love the Chargers this year for 2 reasons. One, it's hard not to be high on Herbert. He looked spectacular last year. But 2, how many games did this team drop with Anthony Lynn with a confused look on his face on the sidelines? Like, he was the biggest problem there. Even if Brandon Staley isn't a great head coach, he's an improvement. Anthony Lynn was terrible. How many times did you watch him just shake your head and be like, did you know he had a game this week? He was terrible last year, just terrible, which hurts me because I used to, when he got hired, I was like, I think I like this guy. Turns out I'm a huge idiot. But no, I'm taking the Chargers in this one, and it's not because I don't like Washington. I think Washington wins that division. I think they have a terrifying front 7. I think Chase Young even gets better this year. I just think both of these teams went into the offseason with some issues. The Chargers met them head on, and Washington got Fitzmagic. That was the big solution. I know they got they get Samuel as well, which I believe will help them. But I like both these teams. I just like the Chargers that much more. I still think it'll be an awfully difficult job to unseat the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'm big on the Chargers right now, and I think they squeak out a win in week 1.
Looks like we have the second official pick coming here from Bebsy. Let's talk about Riverboat or Dreamboat, Ron, however you want to call them, year 2 with Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio, offensive defensive coordinators respectively. Fitzy comes on the scene. Old girl scream Fitzpatrick. And a lot of varying feelings on whether Fitzpatrick still has it. You're right. Curtis Samuel comes in. So does Adam Humphries, who
has what? What has Fitzy had? Like his whole career, he's been a guy who can put up yards and touchdowns, but a ton of picks as well. Like he's always been the same guy. He's been slightly better, slightly worse versions of himself, but there's no mystery as to what he is.
No, but I get that, but I do think that players rally around him.
I think people like him. I don't know if people believe in him. I think people believed in Alex Smith last year and rallied around him.
No one believed in that limpy leg. This isn't fucking a Christmas Carol. I mean, no one gave a fuck about Alex Smith last year. I mean, yeah, it's good that he can walk again. He can walk off. I mean, this isn't Rudy. It's not a fairy tale.
No, but they won games with him.
But Fitzpatrick is still playing a high level of football. Alex Smith got to go out on his own accord. I think that this is an upgrade at quarterback. Do you disagree?
No, I think he's – if it is an upgrade at quarterback, it is a marginal upgrade, and certainly not one that is going to sway a line for me. Look, fair. Alex Smith is the same, but he just doesn't take chances. So – yeah, they're virtually the same guy. They're both a guy that you know exactly what you're going to get, and it's not great and it's not bad. They're going to do things to help your team. Fitzy's going to do things to help and hurt his team, whereas Alex Smith is going to do not many things to hurt his team. The reason they went with Fitz is because they want to see what they have in Taylor Heineke. And so they just got a guy who can be there while they figure out if Heineke can play or not.
All valid statements. Dennis Garcia says Fitz will be 2-5, but the 2 wins will have 400 yards and 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what people, because they like Fitzy, that's the shit they remember. They don't forget when he has 280 yards and 4 interceptions and 1 touchdown, because they're like, he puffs out his chest hair and wears glasses and stuff. He's funny. Like, that's it. That's why people like Fitzy. I like him, but like let's not pretend he's more of a quarterback than he is.
Dennis Garcia agrees with you. He says 0 upgrade, none whatsoever. So
there's a reason he's played for 20 teams.
Oh, look, I get it. I get it. You'd rather have Heineke out there? I mean, I do think this is an upgrade at quarterback. And I do think that, and look, I'm not saying, he's a nice guy. I don't give a fuck if he's a nice guy. But his teammates seem to play well for him and fight for him. And Birdie says, if you have my notes on Washington, Jimmy, that's what Birdie says. And yes, I do. I brought them up while Bebsie was talking. Okay. So, Bebsie, you say that you want Washington to win the division, and we got so much to talk about here, and I know the show's going long, but I was close to betting, and I've made no bets. I want to talk everything out with everybody before I pull the trigger on these things. So this is from Birdie. He says they are currently favorites in 4 of 17 games. That's a tough ask to get 8.5 wins. If you go back and look at their wins last year, they did not really beat anyone good. Their front 7 is elite, but their secondary is not. I think people overvalue what Fitz brings to the table. What people don't realize is Miami brought Chan Gailey off the couch last year to be their OC. Gailey and Fitz just fit. Gailey was the offensive coordinator with the Jets when Fitz had that big year. There's expectations for Washington, and I'm not sure Fitz will get them there. Public perception is very high on them right now because of that defense, but until they can beat elite quarterbacks, they will be a fade against the win total for me. I will be on the Chargers week 1, just have not pulled the trigger yet.
It's hard to disagree with anything Birdie has put down there. And I do want to clarify, because the one thing where it looks like we disagree, I don't think they're going to win the division because I think they're an exceptional football team. I think they're in an exceptionally shitty division. I don't believe the Cowboys bounce back because I don't think Prescott is healthy. I don't think the Giants have done enough to address their myriad of issues. And I don't think the Eagles are worth putting any money on. That's why I'm on them. That's not because I think I agree wholeheartedly. The Washington hype is too much right now.
This is very interesting. So, Curtis Samuel has recovered from COVID, but he's still dealing with a groin injury. He's expected to be ready to go. We don't know if he will. Their offensive line was very good last year with Brandon Scherf and Morgan Moses on the right side. Antonio Gibson was so good. Washington's defense jumped from the bottom 5 to the top 5. We know why that was. I mean, it's high draft picks. They start first-round picks at every spot. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Darren Payne, Jonathan Allen. I mean, these guys are monsters. Ryan Kerrigan leaves for the Eagles, but I don't think that's going to hurt them. Ioannidis, 16 sacks between 2018 and 19. We didn't see him in 2020 because of that biceps injury. Cost them all but 3 games. William Jackson, the third they signed in the offseason. They addressed the linebacker by drafting Jamin Davis out of Kentucky, 19th overall. Landon Collins is expected to be back. They say he's back at full strength, but, Achilles tear. Okay, so do we have an official look here for you on the Chargers?
You do indeed.
All right, number 2 look for Bebsie. We have the Chargers at a pick'em. And a pick'em at -108 at Heritage. Pick'em at -108 at Heritage for the Chargers. Do you also want Washington to win the division, or is that something you like but you're not going to bet?
Yeah, I like it. I'm not going to bet it. I've never been a big futures guy, although I'm going to look at this at the end of the season and be like, that was an easy one left on the table.
Chargers pick'em -108 at Heritage. My dad is also on that action, so you should be very concerned. We move on, and then, man, January 2nd. God, I just got tickets, by the way, for the LA Bowl as well. December 18th, Mountain West winner against Pac winner. Fuck, man. The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl? You kidding me?